Hello, hello, hello. Hello, wise. Welcome. Happy Self-Care Friday. How are y'all doing today? How are y'all doing today? Listen, they got your girl Coach T out here like a real gangster today, all right? We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it. It has been a interesting week, baby, okay? A very interesting week. So I'm going to just jump right on into it. I don't want to hold you. Welcome for some of the ones who may not know me. My name is Coach T. I am a mental health wife coach and marriage consultant. I coach wives who are going through a marital separation. I help that wife to confront her grief. I help her to confront the grief that she's dealing with in her challenging marriage. And then I help that wife to transform into a healthier version of herself as she goes after her other earthly assignments, and trust God with her marriage. All right. Most of the wives that I coach, husbands are in the middle of, abandonment, where they have abandoned a household, adultery has taken place, addiction is present, mental and emotional abuse has taken place in that marriage. But this wife has a tug. She has this tugging from the Lord where she feels like the Lord has told her to stay in that marriage, right? She feels like the Lord has told her to stay in that marriage. And because of that, she signs up with a wife coach like Coach T, to help her to navigate through her journey in the most healthiest way. All right. So welcome. Happy Self-Care Friday. Y'all probably like, Coach T, what we dressing up today? What we got going on? And you late, by the way. All right. And you late. This has been an interesting week for Coach T. All right. The title is, I don't know yet. Because I literally don't know yet. I don't know exactly what I want to title this just yet. So because I have a few things that I need to touch based on some that has been directly given to me from God. Some I'm probably just going to freestyle based off of, my week, what my week has been like. But a lot of what I'm sharing today I got a divine download from the Lord while I was at work. And so I wanted to make sure that I cover all bases. So I do not have a specific title just yet. I did put on my hat today. Y'all see it says Jehovah Rapha. All right. The God who heals. I wanted to wear this hat today because this is the hat. I have different colors that would be part of the self-care assessment for the wives who sign up for their 3 sessions, wives or single. These sessions are for, the wife or single ladies. And so this is one of the gifts. This is one of the gifts that comes in with your tools that will be given to you once you sign up for these sessions. So sign up for your sessions. I'll talk to you more about that at the end. All right. But I want to just talk to y'all about some stuff today because it's been a crazy week for me. All right. Y'all know I have been telling y'all I'm in the middle of transitioning. All right. I'm in the middle of transitioning with a few things. But one was highlighted today. One was highlighted this week that I kind of want to address. All right. I want to kind of address. So we're going to just welcome Jesus on into this live. Lord God, Jesus be a fence. Lord, give me the words to speak to your ladies, your daughters during this time. Help me, God, to do what it is that you have assigned me to do. Lord, may these words be of you and not of me. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. So I want to first start off by saying this, because this week I have been at a different location. Okay. I have been at a different location, with my job. With the job that I do, I can go to, different locations. And I work in different doctor's offices or whatever. So this week I was in a different location. And it's funny that, people who like, they don't even necessarily know you, right? But they will come up to me. This is just my experience. They will come up to me and start just randomly telling me about their relationship. Like, they don't know that I'm a marriage consultant. They don't know that I'm a wife coach. They don't know that I coach people in relationships. Like, but they would just come up to me randomly and start having a conversation with me about their relationship. This is something that I have been experiencing my entire life, way before I even, start doing what I'm doing as a coach. When I was in high school, I remember being in high school, in middle school, I remember being in elementary, like walking people through their little relationships or whatever. Like, girl, you got to do this, you got to do this, you got to say this. Like, I remember like those immature moments, but I remember in high school vividly, like I had like my first client was one of my friends. She was older than me, right? I think I was a sophomore. And I'm going to say she was like a senior. So she was a few years older than me, but she was my homegirl. And I was not in a relationship, right? I was not in a relationship. But she would come to me and ask me relationship advice. And I'm like, girl. And so I just thought that was just crazy how, even to this day, like I can be in the store, I can be at the doctor's office, I can be, walking down the street. People will randomly come up to me and start talking to me about, their relationships or whatever, all right? However, I said that to say, sometimes in having these conversations with people, right? Sometimes when having these conversations with people, and I'm not even trying to be in coach mode, or I'm not even trying to be, coaching at that time, but listening to some of what they are sharing, it's almost like, oh man, this is toxic, or this is bad. But they ain't necessarily really ask for my opinion or ask, they probably like more so just like, just talking at this point. But I want to share this. Wife, and this is just me talking to my wife, all right? If your husband, all right, if your husband is not walking in accordance with the Lord, and he is asking or suggesting that you do something or not, okay, that does not align with God's statutes, with God's word, and you make a decision to obey him, or you make a decision to, to submit to those things, knowing that it's out of alignment with God, you have to understand and know that you have just allowed a seed of idolatry to take place in that marriage. All right. You have just allowed a seed of idolatry to take place in that marriage. All right. And God is very, very, very clear about idols. Okay. God tells us, in the Old Testament, you can't serve no other God but me. All right. You can't serve no other God but me. So if you making other things your God, if you submitting to other things that you ain't supposed to be submitting to, you are out of alignment. All right. And I just want to caution my wives, because I hear these stories, not just in these type of settings, like I said, like took place with me this week, but I hear stories like this all the time where a wife is submitting to her husband's toxic behavior, but well, he's the man and he's the head. And a lot of times these men are not even in the home with these wives, right? They're not even in the home. They are all out of alignment. They are all out of whack. But yet still, these wives are so caught up. Well, he's the head, and I'm trying to submit to him. How you submitting to a man that's not even in the home? How you submitting to a husband who is not even living inside of the home, and you are there in the home doing these things by yourself? You are being the husband and the wife at this place, and you are doing these things by yourself alone. How are you doing that? And so I just want to just first start off with that. Just, want to just caution wives. You got to be real, real careful about submitting to your husband, unhealthy behavior, especially if it's out of alignment with God, because you are allowing a seed of idolatry to be planted into your marriage. Okay. If that husband is not walking in accordance with the Lord, and you have to use wisdom, all right? You have to use wisdom, but that man's not walking in accordance with the Lord, and he is not inside of the home, but he's giving you all these rules and things and telling you all these things that you need to do, and it don't align with God, and you go along with what he's saying anyways, baby, you got to be careful. All right. You got to be careful. So I just want to just first, like, just put that part in there first. All right. Hello. I want to first put that part in that, first. I'm going to be speaking today about a few spirits. Okay. Like I said, I've had a very, 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 very interesting week. Y'all see that I started a little bit later today. We're going to talk about it. All right. But I want to just first, just kind of put that out there about, that seed of idolatry. And that is something that's been like rapidly, I've been seeing that a lot lately. I've been hearing about that a lot. It's like rapidly growing, in relationships. And people don't even realize or understand that that's what they're walking in and that's what they are accepting. All right. And so, I say all that, to say too many wives are walking in this spirit without even knowing, and they have to understand it's a dangerous trap. All right. It's a dangerous trap. You just got to be careful, wives. All right. So that's first. All right. It's the first thing. Secondly, and I know I address this, on a regular basis. So this is probably like a video where I'm going to probably just address some things that I probably already have addressed in the past, but I just want to highlight it again because like I said, I have been having one of these types of week. Already done turned Coach T into a whole gangster this week. But baby, I stood 10 toes down. Okay. I stood 10 toes down. All right. Cause they don't know who my father is. They be forgetting when people try to come for you. They be forgetting who your father is. Like I know how to call my daddy and he comes for me. He comes to see about me because I am his. All right. So next, I just want to share, we have to be very, 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 very careful who we exchange information with. All right. Especially with the ones who are close to us. Okay. Especially with the ones who are close to us, ones that we may see or interact with on a regular basis. All right. You don't know the assignment, just like we sometimes are on assignments as, as children of the Lord. You don't necessarily know the assignments that other people are on, and they can be on an assignment for the enemy. All right. And so sometimes because you want to be that light, all right, you have to also learn how to use discernment and learn how to read. And I think I talked about this before, where you have to read that fruit. Okay. Where you have to really, really read that fruit. There are some people assignments, and it's for the, it's for the enemy. Okay. And a lot of times there are monitoring spirits. All right. There are monitoring spirits that's on assignments and witches. All right. Monitoring spirits, witches, warlocks. These things are happening, y'all. Okay. This stuff is real. All right. Like you don't necessarily know how real it is sometimes until you you're able to, discern it and really be able to see like did they just do that? Like, did that just happen? Okay. Y'all, stuff like this is taking place. Witches are real. Monitoring spirits are real. All right. Many of these type of people are on assignments in the workplace. They're on assignments in your families. They're working in your hospitals. All right. It's the strange woman, the person that your husband is dealing with, maybe whoever he's keeping company with. It's friends. A lot of times I talk to so many wives who say, oh, but that's my friend. That's my friend. We've been friends for a long time. It's like, all right. Some of these people are operating in friends. And maybe, like I said, these friends that you've been communicating with and sharing your information with for many, 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 many years. You do not know the assignment that these people could be on. And so it's always very, very you have to always be very, very mindful and careful about who you are dishing out your information with, especially when it comes to the marriage covenant. Don't y'all get me started, all right? One of the things I'm learning in this season of transitioning, all right, is that you have to learn how to keep your mouth closed, your ears open, and your spirit in tune to what the Lord is saying and directing you. Okay. You have to learn how to keep your mouth closed, your ears open, and you have to be so in tune with what the Lord is directing you and telling you and is giving you discernment, giving you discernment on, because things are taking place out here and God is trying to protect his children. Okay. He really is trying to protect his children. But a lot of times, because his children can get the big head and they be kind of like, trying to do things on their own. Oh, I got this. Oh, I got this type of thing. that pride spirit kick in, and God like, you don't even know what I'm trying to cover and protect you from. All right. We are not just here as disciples of Christ to operate in fear. Like, God didn't call us here to be his disciple, to be used by him to walk in fear. Okay. But we do have to learn how to be wise and learn how to speak up when it's time to speak up, and how to watch and pray. There's a season for this, y'all. Okay. And I think I had shared on a couple of videos ago that, we are in training season. We are in training season. It is a lot of wicked, evil stuff that's taking place. And so many people are coming up underneath this trap and are being deceived because they are operating in the spirit of deception. They're operating in the spirit of pride. They're operating in the spirit of error. All right. They're operating, just in their own will, leaning to their own understanding. And you gonna mess around and run into something, and it's not gonna be good. All right, it's not gonna be good. I remember when a mature woman told me just that about 7 years ago: talk less and keep my eyes open. I'm trying to tell you, like, a lot of these little sayings that people used to tell us back in the days, the little church mamas, and people, like, this stuff is real. like this stuff is real. Like, you are really starting to see the fruit of the things that people will tell us about, and you have to be careful. You really have to really watch, pray, keep your mouth closed, stay close to the cross, y'all. Okay, and stay close to the cross. I did not necessarily walk into a crossfire with something like that. However, God did give me a heads up. Okay, he did give me a heads up. So because he gave me a heads up, I was aware of what was taking place. Okay, as I was preparing to go to work, I think it was on not this week, but the week prior. I was preparing to go to work. Well, yes, it was this week. It was this week because it was that Monday. No. I'm sorry. It was a week prior. I remember, like, I wasn't sleeping good. I'm like, I don't have no problem closing my eyes. I do not have an issue shutting my eyes, right? And so when I was like feeling like I couldn't go to sleep, I'm like, something is off, right? Something is off. And I remember hearing a message recently about, people got to be careful. Like, people that's being used by God have to really be careful right now, because witches are really, really trying to come for God's people in this hour. Like, they are really, really trying to come for them. And I kind of took it, and I was like, okay, I took it in, but I didn't really pay attention to it like that. Baby, by the time Wednesday had got here, I was like, oh, this what this man was talking about right here. Like, this stuff is real, y'all. In these workplaces, in these places where you are interacting with people and you think, oh, that's my friend, or that's my homegirl, or we hang out, or we go way back, or we grew up together. Y'all better be careful, because people are out here on new assignments. They're out here doing new things. They out here getting involved in new stuff. They are operating in all these supernatural spirits and stuff that they are entertaining. They're coming in contact with some of this stuff, and you thinking that, oh, that's my friend, and you have no idea that you are being bamboozled into something, and the enemy is trying to use that person, the ones closest to you, because it's always the ones closest to you. He's trying to use that person to come for something in you that God wants to use for his kingdom, or what God wants to use in you. So you got to be careful. All right. You got to be careful. So I'm learning that. All right. This week I was tried. Y'all see, I got my hat on. Okay. I was tried this week. Okay. But God's grace. Come on, Jesus. They was trying to come for me. All right. And instead of me reacting and behaving like I probably would have had in the past. All right. Like I said, God had already kind of given me a heads up. And so I'm so thankful. And this is why I cannot emphasize enough the importance of having that devotional time with God, having that relationship with God, being in communication with God. Like I said, I'm just that one. I'm praying. I'm going to do what the Bible tells us in First Thessalonians, pray without ceasing. Like, I'm praying all day long. I'm praying. People don't even know I'm praying. And that's one of the, one of the things I'm so thankful for, praying in the spirit. Cause I be praying and people don't even know I'm praying. Like, something don't feel right. Something don't seem right. I pray until I get a release in that. You know what I'm saying? I pray until I get a release in that thing, because when something don't feel right or seem right to me, I'm going to pray that thing away, or I'm going to pray, ask God to give me, wisdom, or give me revelation on what this is that I'm dealing with. Y'all got to learn how to start doing stuff like this. All right. Ooh, I had a couple's night of feeling, I had a couple of nights of feeling anxious and having difficulties turning my mind off this week too. When I noticed the pattern, I prayed for sure. Yes. Like something was really, really taking place. Like I said, I think mine was like last week coming into this week. But God had, like I said, God has had prepared me for it. And so, yeah, they tried it. Like they tried it. The enemy is out here trying people in this season. All right. So this is why I'm so serious, y'all. You gotta stay close to the cross. You gotta stay in relationship with God. They probably would have took me back to my old ways, this week. They probably put me back to my old ways, but I took the lesson and I received God's grace, because it could have went so many other ways for me, right? It could have went so many other ways. And so I'm just thankful for God's grace. I'm thankful for God's mercy. And I'm thankful for God, giving me, wisdom, giving me wisdom on how to handle that situation. But these spiritual forces are out here. They are out here. They are out here. Wise, today I am speaking to you. I'm speaking to you. You have to come from behind whatever it is that you standing behind, whatever it is that you've been avoiding, whatever it is that you trying not to do, whatever it is that that God has told you to do. It is time for you to come from behind the back and come to the fore, and come forth. You have to make sure. This ain't me doing a little thumbs up. It's time for you to move from the back to the front. All right. It's time for you to move from the back to the front. Yes. Thank God for growth. Come on. Praise Jesus. All right. It's imperative. All right. It's imperative that you move from the back to the front. There is an enemy. There is an enemy whose desire is to devour you. All right. His desire is to devour you. And like I said, I can speak on this from experience. I can speak on this from, like I said, what happened to me over this past week. I can speak on these types of things like this because I know how this thing goes. There's an enemy who desires to devour you, and he wants to keep you in a defeated place. He wants to keep you stuck. He wants to keep you in a low place. He do not want you to grow. He do not want you to get better. He do not want you to come from out of that little box that you're in. He do not want you to know what your purpose is. He do not want you to, expand. He wants you to sit in that place of potential, but never utilizing what the gifts is that God gave you. He wants to keep you in a stuck place. His goal many times is to attack your mind. All right. Because a lot of times this is where he is planting his seeds. Once he get that, once he gets your mind, everything else will start breaking down. Once he can get your mind, once he get hold of your mind, if he can get your mind, then everything else starts to break down. This is why I am a believer. I am a believer. And one of the things I train and coach my wife clients to do is to keep some word in you. Having nothing going on in your mind, it's this empty space up there. That is not good for a person who is a disciple of Christ. If you don't got the word plan, if you're not listening to the word, if you're not reading the word, if you're not praying, you need something. If you're not meditating on it, if you're not reading a book, you need something, because the enemy is looking for an opportunity to place negative seeds in your mind. All right. So today I'm on assignment, and I want to teach you a quick and easy way to get your peace back, and get your mind back when the enemy is trying to come for you with imaginations and disbelief. Okay. With imaginations and disbelief. A lot of times he comes to you and plants seeds in your head with things that are simply just not true. It's not truth. It has not happened. But his goal is to see if I keep picking her, if I keep on picking her, if I keep on doing these things, that I can get her. I had an incident happen this week where it was one of those, like, it was as equivalent to a, what's up, big head? I'm like, wait a minute, where this come from? It was equivalent to that. Like, what's up, big head? I'm like, where does this text message come from? Like, where does come from all of a sudden? Like, I am really being tried. It must be something real, real big for me on this other side, because I am being tried this week, okay? Y'all gotta stand 10 toes down on this journey, all right? This is why it's so, so, so important for y'all to stay connected with the right resources, okay? The enemy goal is to deposit things in your spirit so that he can use those things as a seed to feed off of, all right? Part of my coaching in my curriculum, Her Bonus Boost, and the reason I teach my wife the importance of the 5-4 ministry is because there is supernatural power there. Y'all know I'm a believer, and I come in here and I talk to y'all all the time about praying in the spirit, about word of wisdom, word of knowledge, discerning of spirits, the gift of faith, the gift of healing. Like, I'm a believer in the 5-4 ministry because one of the things that I know has worked for me on my journey is utilizing that area. All right. I gotta scratch my head and get a little itchy up there. One of the things that I know God has really, really helped me with on my journey, is when I incorporate the 5-4 ministry on my journey. Like, those are things that I teach my wife clients when they sign up for Her Bonus Boost. This is something that I just pour into them because this is important as you're going through these different things on your journey. All right. Most of the fights that we are fighting, are spiritual fights, right? They're spiritual fights. And that's a huge reason why you need to learn how to fight spiritually. Too many are trying to fight spiritual fights naturally. And it's like, you're going to lose every single time. You're not going to win that battle. You're just not going to win that battle. All right. Most of the wives that I coach are either leaders, all right, or supposed to be a leader. They are prophetic and they don't know that they're prophetic yet. They got some kind of prophetic gifting, or they have some type of specific assignment to be used in the kingdom, right? And a lot of times these wives don't know these things, and these are some of the things that the enemy is trying to keep her from. They don't even realize how God wants to use them and use their gifts because the enemy is fighting her so hard. And a lot of times wives don't ever get to that place because she stopped, right? She stopped, or she doesn't have the necessary training or the right training to go forth, all right? Because too many wives are on this journey kind of like, they kind of like lagging a little bit. Like, like they don't really take it serious. And it's like, you keep playing with your life if you want to. That's on you, okay? I'm not that girl. Like, I'm not that girl. If you want to be out here playing with your life, you play with your own life like that, all right? And that's why I'm big on, like, don't be wasting my time. If you out here playing and you not serious about your journey, don't waste my time because I don't got time for that. I like my life and I want everything that God said I can have on my journey. All right. These wives are walking in, they're unaware of their gifts that God has on the inside of them, and they need to be waking up. They're probably like, disabled, and they need to be, they need to come up, they need to come alive. The biggest enemy usually when you're dealing with these types of wives, or you're dealing with these wives who have these types of gifts, and like I said, a lot of them don't even know that. Usually their biggest enemy is the spirit of Jezebel, the spirit of witchcraft. All right. Those are spirits that these types of wives fight on a regular. Y'all, I had no idea. Like, I knew, but it was almost like, I feel like God has really, really, like, you better open up your eyes. You better open up your eyes and see what I'm showing you. It's like, but you trying to ignore it. But you trying to, like, not pay attention to it. But you're not, what I'm saying? You're not taking it serious. You better stop playing. You better stop playing with the gift that I gave you. You better stop playing with the tools that I'm telling you to use. This stuff is happening, and it's happening for real. And I need you to be aware of it so you can go and teach the other ladies how to do the same thing. Okay? Most of the time, these wives, and I'm referring to these wives, either leaders, prophetic people, or, they're on some kind of specific assignment for the kingdom. your biggest enemy that you're dealing with is the enemy of the Jezebel or witchcraft spirit. All right. Jezebel, if you were Jezebel, you got, witchcraft goes along with that. All right. Usually these wives, husbands, who have, went on the high heaters, who had done went left, they done left their home, they done abandoned their responsibilities, they done, they own, doing substance abuse or whatever. The enemy has, come for them. Usually their husbands, have went left and they have been captured by this spirit. All right. Especially if they are not saved or not operating in their God-given gifts. Okay. A lot of times these type of spirits, they are attractive. They are attracted to leaders, prophetic people. These spirits are attracted to, people like that. All right. And so because these husbands have been captured by this spirit, and they're not walking in their God-given gift, or they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing, or they may have their own trauma that they have not healed from themselves. And so now they're using these things against their own wives. They are working for this enemy in wickedness and coming up against their own family, or coming up against their own household. They don't even realize that they are helping the enemy come against their wife. All right. The very wife that God has given to him to help him on his journey. Okay. Y'all gonna have to go back and watch the replay because I know I'm sharing a lot of information, but I'm just trying to get it out. Once you know your enemy, okay? Once you know your enemy, it's easy for you to spot him. Once you know what your enemy is and who your enemy is, it's easy for you to be able to like, And so, like, for example, like my thing is, and I tell y'all all the time about, work and how I'm not that one to let people just talk to me, any kind of way. I recognize the spirit of, control, witchcraft real quick. All right. And sometimes people take their authority as leaders, managers, supervisors. They do that type of stuff and they take it and they got the wrong spirit behind it. Like, it's the wrong spirit operating. And I pick up quick on witchcraft. I pick up quick on that controlling spirit, that manipulation spirit. I pick up quick on a witch. I pick up on that stuff because I have interacted with those things, with those spirits on a regular basis. And so when I see something like that happen, I'm not going to come in agreement with it. All right. I'm not going to come into agreement with it. And so those spirits be trying to come for me when I see it. A lot of times I see it and I won't say anything. I see it, but I'm praying against it. I'm sure talking to my father about it. I'm sure going to my father in prayer about it because I already been seen it. And this is why I say you got to be in relationship with God and be up on your game when it comes down to these types of things so you can be aware of what you're dealing with, because God going to show you. He gonna spot it out for you. Like, look, pay attention to that. Look, you heard that? He's gonna tell you these things. So once you know your enemy, it's easy for you to spot him. Then when you begin to learn his tactics and his devices, that's how how he's trying to come up, how he's trying to come up against you and be coming up against you. You have to work at this. This is not something that you're like, I'm going to just learn this 1, 2, 3 thing and then that's it. No, this is something God is training you, wife. This is why I always tell wives, like, when you going through stuff with your husband, it ain't even about your husband. it really ain't even about your marriage. It's just your marriage, your household. That's your first ministry. And so that's training ground for you. A lot of what is going on with your husband and your household and your marriage, a lot of that is just training for you. If you are a prophetic person, if you are a leader, if God has a heavy anointing, on your life, you're going to have to go through a hard training. Your process is going to be a little bit harder. And a lot of times God is trying to strip idolatry off of these wives because they have come and gotten so connected, discombobulated with this spirit of idolatry, or what they husbands are, they everything, oh, my marriage, oh, my man. It's like, God, like, quit playing with me. I need you to get yourself together. I need you to get yourself together and heal. Okay. So a lot of times when wives are going through this hard stuff in their marriage and These men are showing a monkey tails. I'm telling you the truth, all right? They're showing a monkey tails. But a lot of what these wives are going through is part of your training because of the calling that is on your life. This is why you need to heal so you can figure out what your other earthly assignments is. It would make so much sense if people just go through the process like they're supposed to. People make this journey more difficult than it really has to be, and it does not have to be those things. And that's why I'm just that coach who's going to tell you, like, I'm going to be so transparent with you and be so upfront with you about it. But at the same time, it's like, but if you just do what you're supposed to do, like, it will start making sense. Things will start falling off. And then God can use you to help that very husband that's out there in this mess. He can use you to be a blessing to him. He can use you to bring healing, to attract him to, to the Lord. But if you still, him and the other woman, he doing this, he acting like this, he didn't do this, he didn't do that. Like, you still in your immature stage. And it's like, you got too much work to do. you got too much work to do. You need to heal. Jehovah Rapha, okay? The God who heals. You need to heal on this journey so that you can get to the next place because God got so much stuff for you to do, all right? Wives cannot afford not to be walking with someone on this journey. You can't afford to not be walking with someone on this journey. Her enemy, your enemy, all right? His goal is to strike you down. He does not want you to get to your destination. He does not want you to get to your next place. Many times, wives have entered into these marriages without knowing their gift, without knowing their purpose. And it was like, just like a person who may have, experienced molestation as a young child, may have had a real bad childhood growing up. Like, you have to understand, like, that was part of the plan. That's what the enemy plan was for you to get into this marriage, for you to never know who you are, who you was called to be, for you to be so discouraged and discombobulated with your emotions, for you to be all messed up. People around here dying because they're not seeing about their mental health. People around here are losing, they're checking out, all right, checking off of earth because they're not seeing about themselves. They're not checking in on themselves, right? And it's like, if you understand your enemy, understand what he's trying to do and what he's trying to get to, it won't be this difficult. All right. It won't be this difficult. Let me see. You are so right. God did. You are so right. God did you the marriage to grow me up and training. If it wasn't for the trouble in marriage, I probably would not have had the desire to read the Bible within a year. There you go. I'm in the process of reading the Bible daily, not to see the year end. There you go. It's training. This process, this grief, this hardship, these challenges, it's just training. Because more than likely, if God has caused you to stay in this type of marriage with a man like this, when you have biblical reasons to leave, you probably have some type of gifting that he wants to use for the kingdom. And your marriage, he just uses it for the training. I tell wives this all the time. They're not getting it. They're not getting it. Your enemy desires to strike you. He desires for you to check out. He don't want you to get to that place. He don't want you. Let's go back to the story of Elijah. After Elijah had done all these great things, now all of a sudden Jezebel, all right, she was going to take him out. And because, he done did all these things, now oh God, just take my life. Oh God, just take me. You got to understand, you have an enemy and he does not want you to get to that next place on your journey. You have an enemy. He does not want you to know what your calling is. He does not want you to know what your purpose is. He does not want you to fulfill those things. He does not want you to go to that next place, to that next level. But you gotta get with the program in this season, guys. I'm trying to tell you. All right. I heard about a content creator today, pretty girl. And she looked like she was young. Pretty girl who I guess took her life or depression had took over and she's no longer here. And one of the things I always try to express with, to wives is if you don't deal with those negative emotions, if you don't deal with that grief, if you don't deal with, some of those things that you're dealing with in your marriage, it's going to lead you into depression, right? And if you go into depression and you don't get like the next, the help that you need, you can literally check out. I don't know if y'all watched Kale from the Nickelodeon show on the Shay Shay show yesterday. Was it yesterday? Well, I watched it yesterday. It probably was out, but I watched it yesterday, and he talked about his, his depression, and he talked about all these things that he was holding in and he was dealing with, and his drinking, and how, the enemy was really, really trying to take him, trying to take him out. It's like, and he literally was at a place where he was going towards the balcony where he was getting ready to take his life, and he knew it was nobody but God who said, "You better get from out here, go back inside, close the door, lock the door." Like, he heard the voice of God. Now, him growing up in the church, that probably paid a huge part in his life, him having a background. But this is why people got to get connected. You got to stay connected to the right source. You got to get connected to the right resources. You got to be around somebody that's going to hold you accountable on this journey. The goal of the enemy is to take you out. Man, sometimes I sit here and I don't like to do it. But when I have moments where I'm like thinking back to all the stuff I went through, and I'm talking about in my marriage. Also, I went through my marriage and the things that that the enemy was just really, really trying to take me out in. I'm like, there's no way I could have went through those things and still be, where I'm at on the other side. Like, I wasn't supposed to make it on the other side. I'm here only because of God's grace. I'm here only because I have a word to share with somebody else, to help somebody else. I'm here because God allowed me to be here. Some people don't make it to this other side, y'all, right? Some people don't make it to this other side. And so you got to get that accountability. It's important. Okay. It's important. Tim Ross, one of my, people I listen to as well, he talked about the Bible verse out of James 5:7. It says, "Therefore confess your sins to each other and pray for each other so that you may be healed. The prayer of a righteous person is powerful and effective." All right. And basically what he was saying is Jesus is our, is our healer. The Lord is going to heal you. But in order for you to stay in a healed place, and this is why people don't understand like the process of healing, this is an ongoing journey, a journey. In order for you to stay in that healthy place, you have to keep doing your work. You have to be held accountable. He used the example of a person who, probably was, was an alcohol, was using alcohol. And he said how that person, he asked God to cleanse him, to take this, this taste out of his mouth. And God did that. But he still knew that he couldn't go by that alone, right? He needed that accountability where he needed to know, like, I need to check in with somebody to hold me accountable, that's going to watch me, that's going to help me to, do good and continue to do good on my journey. I shared with y'all before in the past where the Lord, when my husband came home, back from the hospital, how God cleaned my husband up. It was like not a stain or scar. You would have, people seen him and was like, there's no way this man just went through 10 surgeries. There's no way this man just went through all these things that there's no way. When they see him, he was like crystal clear, right? But it's a Bible verse that talks about that. I think it's in Matthew, where it says when the enemy knows that house is clean, right? He knows that house is clean. But if you're not putting anything in that house, then those spirits can come back 7 times worse. If you're not being held accountable, then those spirits can come back 7 times worse. You gotta get accountability. So many people think, well, God's my healer. God's my healer. Jehovah Rapha, the God who heals. And he is your healer, right? He is your healer. But in order for you to stay in a healed place, you got to be held accountable on this journey. You got to keep going, all right? We know Jesus is our healer, Jehovah Rapha, God, his son. He's the source, all right? But his source, his servant, his resources, his servant, his disciples, his workers, his vessels, we play a part in your healing as well. So when you hear people say, okay, you need to go to therapy, you need to go to counseling, you need to get your coach, you need to get your life coach, you need to get your, like, that's part of your healing journey. So many people think, well, it's just me and God. It's just me and God. It's like, that ain't enough. that ain't enough for what you got going on, for the things that God is trying to do in your life, for what God's trying to take you. That is not enough. It's not enough with just you being you and God. Yes, you and God. God is your healer, but you need some accountability because it's really easy for you to go back. And I'm telling you, when you go back, those spirits come back 7 times worse. Knowing the source and having a relationship with him is the first part of your healing journey, right? But to remain healed, you need to connect with his resources. All right. So many wives fall in trap to the enemy schemes when it comes to their mind because they are not connected to God's resources enough. They're not connected to God's resources. They do one session and they don't do nothing else, until things get worse. Now things are worse, out of control. It's all out of whack. And now they expect to come to a session. They want their coach to help them. They want to be able to resolve all their issues within 60 minutes. And then they don't want to come back again for another 6 months. It's like, that's not going to work. In the meantime, they're still dealing with this situation that's going on with them at home. They're still dealing with this unhealthy spouse. They're still dealing with these things. And when you're dealing with a hurt person, when you're dealing with a person who is not healed themselves, when you're dealing with a person who got their own stuff going on, man, that stuff affects you. That stuff affects you. One session is not going to be enough. That's why I tell wives all the time, yeah, we can do your wife consultation, but that ain't going to be enough. You're going to need more sessions. I know you're going to need more. If you're dealing with an unhealthy spouse, you're going to need more sessions. One session is not going to be enough. It will be a start. I can give you some resources. I can give you some tools. I can get you started on this thing, but you're going to need more. Or the stuff that I'm giving you is just going to be a waste. It's going to be, it's not going to be, it's not going to be enough. It's just not going to be enough. Right? There comes a time when wives have to make a decision. Healing is an ongoing process, and accountability is part of that process. Wives are around here losing their minds to the enemy. I ain't giving him minds in Jesus' name, okay? They're around here losing their minds to the enemy because they are dependent and leaning too much on themselves. Oh, it's just me and God. It's just me and God. They figure, well, they figure we all like, all of us coaches out here, we saying the same thing. Well, this coach said this and she said that too, and she said that too, and this person said that. It's like, you need to find the one that works for you. You need to find the source that works for you. All right. They feel like we all saying the same thing, and that coaches, it's all the same thing, but God is giving a brand new word each and every time. All right. When I coach my wives, when I coach my wife clients, when we pray in, my prayer in is, God, give us wisdom, give us knowledge, give us wisdom, give us understanding, give us revelation, bring forth confirmation. Whatever needs to come up, let it come up. Whatever needs to come out, let it come out. I am praying for God to give me the words to speak to his daughter so she can get a fresh new word. We're not going to have to say, and the only way we're doing, it's the same thing. It's if God hasn't said anything differently. But you don't know that. You can go 3 months and like, oh, well, this prophetic person told me this, or this prophet told me this prophet told me that. And you going on an old revelation. You going on an old word. And God is speaking every single day. All right? When I speak, I ask God to give me the words to speak to your daughters. What is it that you want me to say to them? I pray for revelation, confirmation, wisdom, because we need a fresh and right now word. That's the whole point of this. We need a fresh and a right now word. This helps us to know if we are on the right track, if we have gotten off track, or if anything has happened in between. And this is one of the reasons why I tell wives, check in. Don't let 3 months pass you by without checking in. Because you done went a whole 3 months, 6 months, a whole year without checking in. And you still going on, well, I'm just trusting God. Or did God give you any new instructions? Well, the only thing I heard what God would say. God probably done said something else since then. But because you're not checking in, because you're not being held accountable, because you're just out here doing things on your own, you don't know what his new fresh word is to you. This is serious, y'all. This is not like, oh, I'm just going in here and just getting the word. No, like, this is not for play. We not out here playing. I'm not. I don't got that kind of time, okay? I don't have that kind of time. We're not out here just playing, we just trying to, no, we on assignment. We're on assignment. Part of our assignment, it allows us to get paid for what we do, but we're on assignment. Like, you got real people out here doing what God is telling them to do. And you got so many people out here playing around with these wives and selling them, whatever, just to make them feel good. I don't got that kind of time. I'm not going to play with you like that. I don't have that kind of, I'm not going to play with myself like that. And the reason I'm so stern on that is because I was her. I was you. I know what that feels like. I don't have time for nobody to be playing with my life and playing with what, if God's saying this, if God's saying that. No, I take what I do very, very serious. And there's too many people out here they're just playing. They're just playing. Too many wives are walking in a spirit of error based on an old revelation, and God is giving fresh words at each session. Too many wives are out here walking around with, oh, well, the last thing God told me to do this. Some wives saying, you know, they know they're supposed to be setting for their marriage. But they haven't had no other confirmation. They just going to these different places and getting filled up with, encouragement, and getting filled up with, with some motivation over here, motivation over there. But have you got a new word? Oh, well, this prophet over here, he spoke this word, he spoke that. But was that for this season? Is that for a different season? Like, you need a fresh word. When you are in a position like this, if God has chose you for this position, if God has chose you to stay in an unhealthy marriage when you have biblical reasons not to be, you need to take that serious. That's not I'm gonna check in here and don't check in no more. If God has told you to stand for a marriage that you know has every reason to be over with, no signs of nothing about that marriage being like moving forward, the marriage looks dead. You don't have time to check in once a month, once every 7 to 8 months, once a year. No, because you now could be walking in a spirit of error based off of old revelation. And God, like, I got a new word for her, but she ain't came and got it. I got something else I want to say to her, but she ain't came and got it. She's too caught up and she's holding on too much on that word. One of the things, Coach T, what I used to do. And this is why when I give my clients, I tell every 30 days, check it. God, is something you want to tell me? God, is it something I'm missing? Has the instructions changed? Do I need to be doing anything different this time? Wives know when they do my check-ins every month, they're checking with me. I'm asking them, because did God give you any new instructions concerning your marriage? Some wives are so caught up in, well, God told me to say my marriage. God told me to say my marriage. God told me to say my marriage. But what was his instructions? Has he changed his mind about anything? Has anything changed? And when I say change his mind, I'm not saying necessarily him changing his promise, but maybe he wants to give you a new strategy. Maybe there's something else he wants to add. Maybe there's something additional he wants to do. What were the instructions that God has have given you in the past 30 days? Too many wives are out here on old revelations, and it's like you are in error. You are in error. This is not a joke. I think too many people don't take this assignment serious. And for me, it's personal, right? It's personal. And it's personal because I walk this. It's personal because I cried too many days. It's personal because I hurt too much. It's personal because I took the hits. It's personal because I had to deal with the witches and the warlocks. It's personal because I had to come up against a Jezebel. It's personal because witchcraft was standing over me. It's personal for me. So that's when I say stuff like, I don't mean no harm. I'm sorry if I offended you in any kind of way. When I say stuff like, don't waste my time, I'm dead serious. I don't got time for that. This is personal for me. And I want to help ones who are serious about trying to get the help. Not somebody like trying, oh, well, how long is this going to take? Because, I've been dealing with this and, it's going to get hard. It may get harder. It's going to be ugly. But that's not what you need to be worried about. You need to be worried about going through your process in the most healthiest way and learning whatever it is that God wants you to learn and getting whatever God wants you to get. Because more than likely, you are called to something bigger than your marriage. You are called to something outside of your marriage. You are called to something much greater that God wants to use you for. Your marriage is just training. Okay. It is not okay, right? It is not okay for you to feel like it's just okay. I just need to get this prophetic word. It's not just about getting a prophetic word. It's not just about this prophet prophesied on me, and this evangelist said this to me, and this person said this, and I went to this church meeting, they said this, and this person said this. What is your relationship with Christ? What is your relationship with God? And what has he been saying to you? What is that he's saying to you on a regular basis? What is he downloading in you? What is that divine download that he's giving you each and every day? What is it that he's telling you? What type of pace does he have you on your journey? Because your pace may not be like the person pace next to you. Your pace may not look this person's pace. Your season may look different from the person's season over there. Where does God have you on this journey? Why? Okay. God is speaking. He's always speaking. And he wants to tell you what's going on with your marriage, all right? Many are not getting this because they are unwilling to invest in themselves, all right? Many wives are not getting it because they're unwilling to invest. And when you're unwilling to invest in yourself, you have to understand what you don't know can hurt you. Point blank, period. What you don't on this journey, in a situation like this, when you on this type of assignment, what you don't know will hurt you. It's not about, oh, well, I didn't, When God has called you to this, you have to make a decision to invest. You have to make a decision to go after him. You have to make a decision to do. It's not like, well, I don't have the money. I don't have the money. Get some. get some. I was speaking to my mentor on yesterday, and one of the things I love about her is she knows how to bring me back around to what God is saying to me presently, right? One of Coach T gifts is God speaks to me. All right. He speaks to me. And a lot of times what he shares with me and shows me in dreams and visions, it usually come to pass, right? It usually come to pass. That can sometimes be overwhelming. It can be an overwhelming gift, but definitely a blessing. And because it's a gift, the enemy tries to come from my mind frequently. I'm not up here just making this stuff up. Like, I deal with this presently myself because the enemy tries to come for me because of what God shows me, because of what God tells me, because what God has placed in my, has told me to speak to somebody else for how I help others. The enemy comes for me. God speaks to me regularly. And so because he speaks to me, and a lot of times when he say things to me about certain things, these things come to pass. And so my mentor, she kind of called me out like, why you be playing with God? Like, if he shares something with you and he tells you something, that's a indicator that you need to do something. You need to prepare yourself. Like, why you be out here playing with God and you already know what it is? It is like too many wives are missing out on, I call it the sweet spot with God. Too many wives are missing out on a sweet spot with God because they're only trying to get that satisfaction of, when will God restore my marriage? And they have no idea this journey has more to do about that wife than it has to do with her marriage. This journey has more to do with God improving her, maturing her, growing her, molding her, training her, than it has to do with her marriage. It has more to do with her, right? And so, you got to stay close to the cross on this journey, wife. You got to get some accountability. You got to invest in yourself. All right. And so I want to quickly just share with you three things to get your mind back from the enemy. When the enemy tries to come for your mind, I want to share with you three things that you can do. Number one, you have to know how to connect to the source and knowing the heart and personality of him. Who is your source? God is our source. All right. God, Jehovah Rapha, God, the God who heals. God is your source, all right? He is your healer. He is your healer. Number two, accountability. Accountability. Resources come in various ways. If you cannot invest in your mental health, you need to put it in your budget. People are checking out. Depression is taking over. People are not taking this stuff serious. And by the time they take it serious, it's like it's too late. They 1 foot in the grave and 1 foot out. They done had a mental breakdown. They done went and left. They done went to jail. They done got in trouble. Something that happened. You need accountability. I have my mentor, and now I have a therapist, and I have an accountability partner. Me, Coach T. And the reason I have those things, because like I said, God shares and shows me a lot of things. And sometimes pride can raise up in Coach T. And so I need that accountability to calm down. Calm down, girls. Calm down. Because I can get like that, right? I'm so passionate about what God has called me to. And sometimes I can get buck if you nuck type of thing. Yeah, it can happen. And so I got three. A therapist, a mentor, and accountability partner. What you have? What do you have? Who are you checking in with? That accountability is going to save you on this journey. I'm trying to tell you. And then number three, recognizing that seed that the enemy is trying to plant. What kind of seed is he planting in you? Is it a good seed? Is it a bad seed? You need to know, all right? You need to know. And the only way you're going to be able to know is if you be able to discern what you are dealing with, what you are coming up against, all right? And so I share that to say, I'm still offering for this mental health awareness month. I'm still offering the self-care assessments to clients where you can get 3 sessions for, 3 sessions to prioritize your mental, emotional, spiritual, physical, relational, and social health. These are some things that I'm offering, and I'm giving a discount. Like I said, this is a $1,500 investment, but I have cut the price in half. It comes with, like I said, it's going to come with your hat here. You get 3 sessions, 1 90-minute session, and then 2 60-minute sessions. And then you also will get this prayer shawl, which is very similar to the hat. And it's just basically saying Jehovah Rapha, the God who heals. And then it comes with 2 books. A lot of my clients have had great success with the PayPal. PayPal offers like 4 pay for 4. For the ones who saying that I can't necessarily pay for that right now. Do something. do something, right? And so you can pay, you can set up a payment plan with PayPal where you don't have to necessarily pay in full right now. You set up an arrangement with PayPal so you can get your sessions in. You gotta do something. If you know that God has told you to do this journey, then you need to be doing your work. If you know God has called you to this stand, then you need to invest in yourself. Don't wait until, oh, well, I don't have the money. Not having the money is no longer an excuse. It's too many options out here. It's too many things. When you have a situation with your car and you know you got to have your car to go to work and you don't got no money, what do? You have to figure it out. This is an opportunity for you to figure it out. Too many people are losing their lives. I see the video with the girl Casey and P. Diddy. Man, when I see stuff like that, I'll be like, baby. It's sad, and you have so many women who are underneath these types of things. They don't even. That's a warlock. They're underneath these types of things. They don't even realize what they're dealing with, who they're encountering, and the stories I hear and the people that they talk. Like I said, I've been at this office and just hearing different relationships. And I'm saying this is some toxic stuff, and it's like I'm listening to it, but in my spirit, I'm just like, oh my God, I'm feeling some type of way in my spirit. But it's like people are out here messing around and playing with their mental health. They're here messing around and playing with their emotional health, their spiritual health, their physical health. And these relationships, it's not good. We got other stuff to be doing. y'all, we have an enemy who is coming for the kingdom. His goal is to stop you in your tracks, to keep you wife all the way in the back, all right? Where you never come to the front and you never take hold to what it is that God has called you to. This is the hour to do your work, all right? So I want to encourage you, sign up today for your consultation. You can sign up at www.marriagechroniclesbytanika.com, or if you send Coach T, I am ready to start my self-care assessment so I can just kind of see where I'm at on my journey, see what I need to work on, see what other, offers you have. Get the 3 sessions. This is an opportunity for you to get the 3 sessions. We are going into the summer months. I'm getting ready to start a series in the month of June, Summertime Glow Up, all right? Summertime Glow Up. It's not just about hot girl summer, all right? We're not just doing no hot girl summer. No, it's time for you to grow up, okay? It's time for you to grow up. When you grow up, you glow up, all right? And so take advantage of this. These sessions that I'm offering is a $1,500 investment usually. I have cut it in half. And brought it all the way down to $750. But I think with the books and the fees, it's like $785 or something like that. And it comes with, like I said, it comes with these gifts. It comes with these things. It's time for you to do your work. All right? It's time for you to do your work. Let me just read your little stuff that you had put on here before I let you go. Let me see. He felt with a lot. Yeah. It said to keep an eye for the strong. He was making others laugh while he was broken. Yeah. That's usually how it happened. What God said to me at the start of the restoration is not what he is saying to me today. That part. And that's the thing. So many people are walking in error because a lot of times, like, well, God just told me to be still. God just told me to be still. Okay. 3 months later, 6 months later, God told me to be still. He ain't gave you no other instructions. He ain't said nothing else to you. People not taking this journey seriously. I see too many wives. I see too many wives out here like a gag. I see too many wives out here playing. Oh, my husband came over. Oh, me and my husband had sex. Oh, me and my husband. And it's like, you're not serious about this journey. You're not serious. You're not really serious about what this journey. It costs Coach T. All right. It has cost me. So that's why I always tell wives, the oil costs, honey. I know what I went through. I know what I had to bear. I, to this day, don't even know how I can sometimes sit up here and be like this because of all the hell I went through. That song had came in my spirit earlier this week. I'm thinking about Marvin Sapp. So glad I made it. I made it through. My testimony, baby. That thing had me all watered up in tears. People don't know, right? You just don't know. And y'all keep out here playing with these spirits, okay? Keep being out here playing with these things and don't heal and don't be able to recognize what's going on. The enemy is trying to take you down. Get the necessary help. $750 is not a lot of money when you are investing in yourself. You're not going to just walk away with, oh, I'm going to walk away with, just some information. You're going to walk away with a lifetime of information. Like I said, I'm one of those coaches. When I give you something, I'm not saying, oh, you have it for a temporary time. No, it's yours. It's yours. That's why I'm so big on books and giving stuff away. Because it's like you have some people who they'll coach you and they'll give you a curriculum and then they'll take it away, after a certain period of time. No, you purchased it. This is yours. You don't go to these counselors and therapists and you're paying under $1,000 for these types of sessions. You're just not going to do that, right? You're just not going to do that. And so because it's Mental Health Awareness Month, I have cut this price into half and brought it down from $1,500 to $750. Sign up for your sessions to start doing your work. If you're saying, well, I don't necessarily know if I need a self-care assessment, maybe I need to, really focus on my emotions and get my emotions in a healthy place, sign up for the emotional detox sessions. I have several sessions that you can sign up for. That's why I said, let's talk. Reach out. Send me an email. Text me. Let's talk. We figure out what you need and we can get you on the right track. All right. I offer sessions every once a month, twice a month. Some people do every week. All right. Some people do every 3 months. I have different sessions for you, whatever it is that you need in this season. God may be telling you something different and you may be walking in error because you are holding on to an old revelation or holding on to something that he said in the past. And God's saying, I got a new strategy for you. I got a new plan for you. I got something else I want to add to this. And you missing out on it. You're missing out on it. So I hear God differently when I stop idolizing the relationship. That part. Sign up today. I want to encourage you, all right? www.marriagechroniclesbytanika.com. In the meantime, happy Self-Care Friday. Y'all go enjoy the rest of your Friday. And I'll talk to you soon. Blessings.